Next on the shop out list is my Gottlieb Arena game. This game I had purchased over a decade ago. It was the very first pinball machine I ever bought for Playport, and it has outlasted every other pinball machine I've ever put down there. And actually, we haven't had any major breakdowns on it until now. We've done some small things over the years. I mean, we've rebuilt the flippers, I think maybe 5 years ago. Of course, we kind of get in there and we tinker with it and, you know, clean things up and stuff like that, just normal maintenance stuff. And I think we only put rubbers on it like 3 times in the last 10 years. I mean, it's actually been neglected. The fact that it's been playing so well, it kind of gets forgot about. We didn't have any maintenance slips come in on it, so it just kind of got neglected. It's a little. I just got done shopping out the top half of this pinball machine. I ripped everything apart. It really didn't take that long. There's not a ton of components on the top here. I got about maybe 15-20 minutes taking everything off, and then I've been working on cleaning. I got like 3 coats of wax. This playfield actually came out a lot better than I thought it was going to. This was really dirty and grungy, and I was nervous. It looked like there was some excessive wear, but a lot of that came out with the cleaning procedure. I did have to do a little bit of minor touch-up on here in certain areas where it was just grinded down to bare wood. But other than that, it actually didn't need a ton, and it cleaned up really nice. So I'm really happy about that. Here we are at the back box of the Arena game. This game was plagued with board problems, and mostly it was like a power and ground issue. The Gottliebs from this era have known ground problems, so we had to address that. But this board right here had this transistor got so hot it was black all the way across. It literally fried and took a chunk of the board with it. Like, this was the worst damage I've ever seen on a board. It was really bad. So this had to have some extensive repair. I had to pretty much run jumper wires on every single point that this transistor made contact with, and we had to put all new screws and everything in there and clamp it down pretty much like a machine screws with nuts. So this was in bad shape, but that did work. That repair actually did work, and we got this board functioning again. So the other issue was the power supply. So this is the original power supply in the game. It's got this adjustable potentiometer where you can adjust the voltage, but this has been problematic. I know that this is a problematic setup here. I did try and dial in the voltage. I mean, I cleaned this really good, hit it with some deoxit, we worked it, and I could not seem to get the voltage to stabilize with this thing. So instead of like trying to rebuild this, I decided to go with a new modern power supply right here. And this thing is awesome. Like, I'm glad I decided to go with this. I feel like it's newer tech. It's going to be more stable for the game. It also includes a built-in fuse, which is nice. So if there is a short in the game, hopefully that will give you some protection there. The other cool feature of this, it does come with a ground lug mounted on the board. So you could, if you wanted to, run a jumper wire from here to every single board, and you could do a very solid ground on this if you wanted to. I actually went a different route though. I took this really heavy gauge white wire and I ran it from this lug all the way to the bottom of the cabinet where all the grounds tie together. And I did another mod down there, and this was something I learned from watching a video from TNT Amusements. So thank you, Todd Tuckey, for giving me that tip, because that was awesome. Basically, we take all the ground connections down there, you cut off the connectors, and you tie them all together, and you put them all into one central tie-in ground, one solid ground. And I added this additional wire in there so that we have a little bit of extra ground right there. So I think that was a great mod, and the rest of this actually isn't too bad. Once I did that mod and put this new power supply in there, all my other problems went away. This had all kinds of weird, strange issues going on. We had resets, we had some random like flippers kind of not working intermittently and things like that. Just very strange stuff, and it was all power derived. So this mod and addressing this power supply fixed all those issues. This is the ground wire modification I did on this game. I got this from TNT Amusements from a video that Todd Tuckey did, where he suggested doing this, and I think it's a really great idea. I did add this one extra wire right here, and this one runs up to the power supply. The new power supply I bought has a ground lug on it to actually run ground jumpers from board to board, but what I did is actually I brought it down here because this is where all the grounds tie into. And I did shop out the lower half of this. It's not too bad. Actually, this drop target assembly comes out really easy on this game. There's just a Molex connector and like 4 screws. You can take the whole entire assembly out, sit at the bench and tear it all down, clean it, and polish it up with some Novus, get it working really good and put it back in. So that all got serviced. Of course, all the normal shop out stuff that I do. Replace all the coil sleeves, clean all the coils while they're out, and take Q-tips to all the inserts on the lights, replace all the LEDs while I'm under here. The switches, I go ahead and clean all those switches, making sure they're making and breaking while I'm under here. This game in particular has a bunch of these like resistor boards down here, and they use those same kind of like edge connectors. So I basically took all those off and I cleaned them up really well and put them back in. Just to make sure that we were getting good connections throughout this whole game, because connections are always a failure point, especially with this game. And rebuilt the flippers, and pretty much that's it for about the lower half of this game. It's a pretty easy game to shop out, actually. I just finished shopping out this Gottlieb Arena game, and boy did it turn out nice. I was really worried about this game when I first brought it home from the arcade. It looked trashed, and I was really concerned with the playfield damage, but actually after cleaning it up and going in here with the magic eraser, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, and it cleaned up and polished really nice. There was a little bit of touch-up that I had to do on the playfield, but not a lot actually, not a lot less than I had anticipated, and it came out so nice. I mean, I did my whole normal, you know, cleaning, polishing down with Novus 2 and 4 layers of wax, of course. Everything got stripped down. So I'm just going to go over some of the highlights of what I had to do on this game and some of the repair work that I did. So first off, this is the first game that I've done 100% Titan rubbers on. I'm really liking the silicone rubbers. There's Titans, there's Super Bands. I like them both. I like them both for different reasons, and in some cases, I think I'm going to do a mixture of the two on the games, but this one is actually a full set of Titans, and I didn't buy a kit. I don't even think they have a kit for this, but I really like the idea of customizing the colors yourself, and I use green down here on the slings. It really matches the plastics down here. It looks really good. I like the performance of them too. I love the ability that you can just, when you're doing a typical quick wipe down and cleaning on the game, when it's just a normal operation, you can just wipe these down. It doesn't leave that black dust from the black rubbers. It doesn't break down into that white powder from the white rubbers. You know, it holds up for a long period of time, and there's a lot less maintenance with these rubbers. So moving on from that, I did put red down here on the flippers. I thought that matched really nice. I did up here red on these mini posts, and I did yellow to highlight the million shot. Thought that looked really cool, and I did some combinations of reds up here. Most of the game got reds because there's like basically red, yellow, blue, and some greens on the playfield. I think it really looks good. All right, moving on from that though, I did want to talk about this ramp. Excuse me. The ramp was damaged pretty bad. Every arena I've ever seen has a bad, busted ramp on it. And the ball, the way the angle is on the flipper, it comes in and it just contacts this and just busts it apart on both sides usually. This one was broke on both sides. And I could not find a replacement ramp. I went on Cliffy's website and I was hoping to find a set of Cliffy's for this that was already pre-made, and I struck out. I don't think that he's actually made these Cliffy's yet, so I'm like, what do I do? So I decided, wonder if I can make my own Cliffy. So I took some construction paper and I kind of mocked something up. This took a long time to do, and I went and got some sheet metal, the type that you would use on like an HVAC system, and it bends real easy. You can cut it with shears. So once I figured out the template with the construction paper, I put that onto the metal and I cut the metal out, and I actually bent a little tab here so it fits underneath the post to secure it, and it actually works really good. I think it looks nice. I think it came out well. I'm hoping Cliffy would be proud of me at this point for coming up with this, even though it doesn't look nearly as good as what he puts out. So the sides up here, I did decide to put a little bit of clear Gorilla Tape to help hold that down. I was able to kind of form it, and it did fit okay there, but it did swim just a little bit. So it's really not that noticeable when I have this clear Gorilla Tape, and it's very strong. It's almost like a Mylar, actually. And I use that to kind of help secure it in place. But overall, I got about 30-some games on this, and it held up really well. It's taken a beat, and I've been focusing on this ramp, doing nothing but just pounding this ramp with the balls, and this stuff has held up really well. So I pretty much saved that ramp right there. Now let's talk about this other section, this return ramp. It's actually 2 plastic LED tubes. I was really hoping that I could just buy these because this one was in rough shape. The lights weren't working anymore at the time. I pulled it off, and then there was like a broken mount here. You know, it was a clip missing. There was just a rivet hanging up there. The tube was flopping. The ball was just popping off of it. I mean, this was in really rough shape. So I had no choice but to repair this because I could not find this anywhere on the internet. I'm hoping somebody comes up with an idea or something, or someone comes up with a replacement for this. If you know of something, please leave a link in the description below because I would love to have a spare for this. But what I did is actually I had to take my cutoff wheel and cut off that rivet, and I put a piece of double-faced mounting tape on there because it had the correct thickness that I needed. And I did that along with some hot glue around the edges, and it actually held up there fairly well. And I did do some other hot glue in areas to kind of strengthen this here, and was very delicate with it. I cleaned them. I mean, it was filthy, but actually the lights not working was part of the whole power and ground issue I was having with the whole game. So luckily those lights are still good inside there, so I got lucky there. And now it looks beautiful. It works great. Some of the other cool things that that was going on here, we talked about the Titan rubbers. I did tear down this drop target assembly here. The LED lights on the whole playfield. I was really concerned with the brightness level of this game. It seemed like when you have like a dim room, which we typically have playing pinball in, it just didn't seem like there was enough GI lighting here. So I was considering adding some spotlights and everything, but once I got under here and I cleaned these inserts with a Q-tip, and I upgraded all this lighting with the 2 SMD LEDs, and I did some different LEDs in the spots and everything, but the GI lighting all got the natural white 2 SMD bulbs from Comet Pinball, and that alone just brightened up the playfield to the point where you can actually see to play the game now. So that is awesome. I'm glad I didn't have to add any light mods to it. Up here in this area, I did add some super brights in here because I wanted this to be lit up. It was a really dark area. I was initially nervous that it might have been too bright and blinding, but it's really not. These are like the fluted bulbs, so it kind of disperses the light, and it works really well. It looks good. Up here, these are now very vibrant and colorful. So this whole game turned out really good. Actually, these capture and release lights weren't working at all. They still had incandescent bulbs in here. So these got all updated with the Comet Pinball LEDs. So those are all looking really nice. Overall, I'm so happy with how this restoration turned out. And you really learn the game. When you do a full restoration like this, or well, I should say a full shop out. It really wasn't a restoration. But we did save the game with this shop out. And you test every switch. You got to pretty much learn the game when you do this process. So it's really fun. Now I understand the game rules. I'm going to do another whole video and talk about how to play the game, how to get points of the game, strategies, and all that stuff, because I've been playing this thing nonstop since I shopped it out, play testing it, and it's actually a really fun game to play. I think it's well underrated. I've kind of read a lot of comments about it, and people were kind of not liking the game, hating on it for certain reasons. It's not my favorite game by any means, but I think it's a really fun game. It's got a lot of cool features on it. There's things I like and I don't like, but I don't want to make this video too long. So I'll put a link in the description below if you're interested in that how-to video of how to play this game. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel for future pinball videos.